Now let's do red and yellow soil. Now red and yellow soil develops on crystalline igneous rocks and wherever there is low rainfall. Okay, so this is important feature. Red and yellow soil will develop on a crystalline igneous rocks and in areas where there is low rainfall. We find this in the towards the east. We find it in the Deccan Plateau, Eastern Deccan Plateau and Southern Deccan Plateau. So let's locate it in the map first and then we will see the features. Okay, red and yellow soil. So see, this is towards the eastern side of the Deccan Plateau. It is filled with red and yellow soil. So this is area of Odisha, Chhattisgarh, then parts of Andhra Pradesh, and then down south Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka it's all filled with red and yellow soil. And then we have a little bit also in the northeastern part also we find the red and yellow soil, but it is predominantly in the eastern part of the Deccan Plateau and southern Deccan Plateau. Okay, now what are the features of red and yellow soil? Red and yellow soil is having a high content of iron present, and when it is wet it is yellow in color, and when it is dry it is red in color. So it is basically because of the iron we get the color red. So this is again an important portion because normally questions are framed on red and yellow soil. So next let's do the laterite soil. Now the laterite soil is found in places where there is excessive rain and there is high temperature. That means the heat is very high. Okay, now the word laterite, it comes from the word later, Greek word later, which means brick. So which are the areas where we find laterite soil? Now we find it in the western ghats of Maharashtra, Odisha, southern states like Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. Let's quickly see where do we find laterite soil in the map. So hold on for a second. Okay, so see laterite soil, this is marked with this white. So this is laterite soil. Okay, this is laterite soil. Towards the western coastal plains we find laterite soil, a little bit of it in here in Tamil Nadu, and then scattered at few other places. So here also we find a little bit of laterite soil and also over here in Odisha. Okay, now the next important feature of laterite soil. Which are the important features? It is acidic in nature and it doesn't have good humus present in the humus content is very poor, so deficient of humus, because of which the plants don't grow properly. But if the fertilizers are provided, then we can grow plants like tea, coffee and cashew nut on these soils. Okay, so we know that we find a good amount of cashew nut gardens in Goa and Karnataka, Kerala. So it is because of this. When manuring is done, then we can grow cashew nut in these areas. So tea, coffee and cashew nut can be grown on laterite soil on manuring it. Now the next soil that we will do is arid soil. Arid soil is red in color and its color varies from red to brown. Now where do we find it? We find it in the areas where the temperature is very high but there is no rain. Okay, so specifically western Rajasthan and Gujarat. So arid is basically the desert climate, the desert soil. So desert soil is very easy to locate. We will find it only in this area of western Rajasthan and parts of Gujarat. arid soil. It is desert climate, basically it's found. Now what is special about the arid soil? Since it is formed because of the high temperature and no rain, so small particles or conker is found in this sort of soil. And this soil is very high in salt. The salt content is very high, and proper irrigation can be done with use of fertilizers. So you can do proper irrigation on this sort of soil with use of fertilizers. Okay, then we have the last one that we have is the mountainous or the forest soil. Now, as the word suggests, mountainous means this soil will be found in the hilly area. So hilly area is basically the Jammu and Kashmir belt. That is the area where we find these mountainous soil. Now remember, at the foothills of mountains, you have done it in grade 9. So I'm just redoing it. At the foothills of the mountains, you will have more fertile land. Whereas if in the middle, you will have, that is in the hilly areas, you will have the fertility of the land coming down a little bit, and towards the top, that is at the highest peaks, we will have the snow covered mountains. So there we don't find any fertile land at all. So fertile land is found in the mountainous areas only at the foothills of the mountains. And because we see such a variation in the soil, at the top there is no fertile land at all. We find only snow covered mountains. In the middle portion we find basically the less fertile soil, and towards the foothills of the mountains we find the fertile soil. So because of this variation, we can say that mountainous soils have they vary in a high proportion. So various types of trees are found in these areas. So basically this portion and a little bit of here in the northeast, wherever we find hills and mountains, we will find the mountainous soil. So with this we come to the end of the portion of soil.